In this tutorial in Cyberlink PowerDirector, I'd like to give you some tips on two very useful techniques you can use in video editing. The first is trimming clips. The second is grouping clips. Let's look at trim first. I have on track number 1 a very long clip, and I only want a small part of it. I have a couple in this clip that are walking a dog. Now normally what I would do is I would take my playhead and drag on it left or right and try to find the spot where I have them walking the dog, and then I would cut it, and then I would go ahead and cut the end off of it when I'm done with that segment. There's a much more precise tool you can use in PowerDirector called your trim tool. So I'm going to move the playhead back off of the scene of these guys, and then I'm going to get to the trim tool. You can do it in one of two ways. The slow way is to right-click on the clip and then choose the trim in the pop-up menu. But you notice behind it we have a shortcut key. It's Control-Alt-T. I often split with Control-T, but now I learned that Control-Alt-T will get me into trim. Let's try that. So I'm going to click down here again, hold the Control and Alt keys down, and press the T key. Now in this case it wants to know if I've applied reverse to the clip because I've edited it already. I've changed some color. What it will do when it shows me the screen, it will not show me the clip on the timeline, it will show me the clip that's in my media room. Now that doesn't affect the color I've added, but I won't see that, and that's all it's basically saying. So if I applied reverse, it would remove the reverse. I haven't, so I'll click on yes. Now I can move like I did before and get to the scene or close to it, but what I want to do is be more precise. Now on the right side, I have an in position and an out position. The default is the beginning of the clip and the end of the clip. Now I can click on this icon below the preview. It's mark in. That will give me an in position. But you notice in parentheses, it has your shortcut. I always prefer keyboard controls. The mark in is simply I for in. I'll press I, and now it changed it. Now if I want to modify it more precisely, I can use the up and down arrows above my in position. If I do my up arrow, it moves it forward. If I move my down arrow, it moves it backward. So if I want to start it right, say here, for the clip, now it's automatically moved my position. I don't have to rekey or type my in again, it's reset it. Now the out position is still the end of the clip, and I can drag that back wherever I want. Now here we have the couple, and they're working with their dogs. And again, I can modify it. Again, if I hit up, it moves it forward. I want it backwards a bit. So I'll just click on that a few times. It's moving it frame by frame, moving my out position where I want it. I can be very precise here. There I've got the two dogs in. It's 2 minutes, 5 frames, and 6 seconds. And then when I'm happy with what I've done, I'm going to click on Trim. And now I have my segment. When I play my segment, it is exactly the duration that I want. I've trimmed it right down to the very frame, and it's really easy to do. Let me show you another tool that you have that sometimes is very helpful but overlooked. That's grouping. Back here I have another clip of a river, and when I play it, I have below it another segment, and then I have a title. So when I play this, I have the river, and then I have on track 2 a guy staring at trees, and I go back to the river, and then I have a title that says save 10%. Let's assume I've edited this and it's more significant than what you see on the screen. And I want to make sure I don't mess it up with other editing on the timeline. What I need to do is I can magnify or shrink the timeline and include as many tracks as I want, and then I can group them by using my left mouse and highlight all the elements, and then I can group them by simply holding down the Control key and hitting G. That will group the clips together. It also gives me a range. I press the Escape key and the range goes away. Watch what happens when I try to move the clips. They all move together. And if I wanted them in front of this other clip, I can move it, or if I want them back or anywhere I want to go. Now, if I try to edit them, I can't. They're locked for editing. I double click and it doesn't let me edit any of these. So they're totally locked out. Now I can delete them as a group. If I hit the delete key, I can remove them. I don't want to do that. But this makes them safe because it locks every element in the group for editing, and then it makes it so that you can move it and adjust it anywhere you want. So if you have a segment in your project that you say, this is done, this is finished, in this, and I don't want to do anything with it, but I'm not going to produce it separately and use those other tools. I'm just going to lock it down. And you can lock down more than one group at a time. I have another group here with a video and also a title. And I can take this and do Control G to group it. And that one's grouped as well. And I can move that wherever I want. It's locked down for editing. Now, if I want to ungroup stuff so I can edit all or part of it, all I need to do is click on it, and you notice it will highlight more than one. And then to ungroup it, I do Control Shift G, and it's ungrouped. Now, if you want to use the keyboard commands, that's the quick way. If you forget the keyboard commands, here's what you can do. You can take the group, and then you can right-click, and you can say Group Clips. And once they're grouped, you can do the same thing. You can click on it and right-click, and you'll have the ungroup clips in your pop-up screen. So those are two very useful tools that we can use when we're editing, and we want to be careful and we want to be precise as video editors in CyberLink PowerDirector.